Last time we went over the real-time relay class so that we can see how we're utilizing the OpenAI Real-Time API beta library provided from OpenAI October 1st, 2024. We're super early in this and we want to really break down this utilization so that we can use it in our own AI applications. So now that we're familiar with what Relay.js does here, we can see that this takes that class that we created and it's going to check our .env environment. It's going to set our OpenAI key to what we have in our .env environment. If there is no key available, then it'll send us an error and stop this entire process, which is awesome. Here, it's going to set the port based on the port that's available in our .env environment. Otherwise, it'll default to 8081. Next, what's going to happen is we have the relay variable getting saved as the new object that's going to get returned to us when we feed it the OpenAI key. And as you remember, that's what we're going to utilize as the constructor. It's going to create this. It's going to create a weak map. And it's going to create this, which is null, but then gets created as soon as we begin listening to a port. Beautiful. So essentially, everything right now seems pretty straightforward. The next step is how do we utilize this in the application? Well, I'll explain that to you. After we've created our relay and we have the object here, we can now utilize it in our application. If we head over to source, we'll see that everything in this application is within the console page. We're utilizing React.js here. And if we head over to the console page TSX file, which is in the pages folder, which is in the source folder, then we'll be able to see the libraries that we're calling in this file. Immediately, we have a use effect, use ref, use callback, use state. All of those we should have used by now if you've worked in any capacity as a front-end developer with React. Here, we have the real-time client. Interesting that we're also importing it here, even though we imported it in the relay.js. So we're going to figure out what's happening there. We're taking item type from this distribution library. And I think that's important because even though this is a TSX file, which is why we need that type. I thought that this was a JavaScript file for a second. Okay, so we're good. So here we're getting this type, so we don't get any TypeScript errors. Here we're also getting two really important functions, essentially, or classes. Yeah, these are two important classes from the libwavetool.index file, which we're also going to check out. Here we have instructions, which is set up in our configuration file. Here we have wave renderer. I think that's sort of the animation we see when the actual AI is speaking. Here we have a few things pulled from something called React Feather.
It's 11:30.
I'm assuming that that's some type of UI library. We have a button, we have a toggle, and we have a map just pulled from the map component. Here we have styling, and this isn't used, so I'm going to skip over that. We've got an interface set up for coordinates. We've got an interface set up for real-time events. The interface for coordinates wants a latitude, longitude, location, a temperature, which needs a value and units as key property, as key value pairs. We need wind speed. I'm not gonna say we need because location, temperature, and wind speed are actually optional. I think the only ones that are mandatory are latitude and longitude. Here we have our interface for real-time events. So this is gonna allow us to see the time, see a source. We're gonna be able to see the counts and events. Here's the monkey in the middle, the meat and potatoes. We've got the export function page. We have the export function. This is our component essentially. So it's the console page. We're going to, interesting. So we're setting the local relay server URL. Okay. We're setting that as an API key here, which I thought was interesting. I thought that this was just merely, 8081 or something like that. But here we're setting it as the API key, I guess to pass it to the actual real-time object that we decide to instantiate. Here we're going to see if there's anything in local storage called TMP voice API key. We're going to prompt the actual, interesting, where's prompt come from? So here is going to see if there is an API key. If there is, then we're going to set the API key to a string. If there's not, then we're going to get it from local storage, assuming that we already have an API key. I'm not sure how this actually works. I have to look over that logic actually. And so we're either going to get that, or we're going to tell the system, hey, we need an API key. That's where you see sort of an alert pop up saying OpenAI key. You can put it here. And then that will save that value there, which will get saved to API key. Lastly, we're going to see if the API key is not empty. So over here. If it's not empty, then we're going to go ahead and set it to the local storage. This is why we're checking for it. In the second step, we're creating a prompt for it. Here, we're creating wave recorder ref. So I believe this is either going to, I think this is what actually records our audio. This I'm going to assume streams the audio. This here is going to create a reference to the real-time client. We've got a canvas that we've created. We've got a server canvas that we've created. We've got events so that we can see the scrolling. Start time ref. I guess that's to keep track of the time. Here we're creating items, real-time items, expanded events. Is connected, can push to talk, is recording, memory KV, coordinates. I guess here we give it a random set of coordinates. Marker, set marker. Here we're formatting the time. Here we're resetting the API key. I guess that happens when we click a button called API key, which I don't see here, but we'll see later on. Okay, so this is going to connect the conversation. Here we're using a callback hook in order to instantiate the client, the wave recorder, the wave stream player. setting that to the current date. We're saying is connected is true. We're setting the real-time events array to 0, which we're keeping track of in a use state here. It also has its own interface, which we saw earlier. We begin the wave recorder. We begin the connection to start streaming audio output. Here, we finally connect to the Real-Time API, and we're going to send a message. So the type is input text. The actual text is hello. So this is another one we can test after. This over here is super cool because we have our get turn detection type. It's going to see if it's server VAD, which is server voice activity detection. If that's the case, well, then it's going to record the information that's coming in and append it to the client, which is the real-time client, using this append input audio, which again is taking a lot of the heavy work for us. Disconnect conversation, I mean, that's going to be pretty explanatory. It's just so that there aren't any leaks. Here, delete conversation item, again, pretty self-explanatory. Start recording. So here, we're going to set recording to true. We're going to instantiate the client again, instantiate the wave recorder, instantiate the wave stream player, track sample offset. Not 100% sure what that is, but I guess this is watching for the interruptions. We have if track sample offset, we're going to get that track ID, find out information, and cancel the response from the real-time API. Again, I think that this is just to handle interruptions. Here, we're going to stop the recording. Here, we're going to change turn end type. So this over here is going to let the system know whether we are in manual or VAD mode. So turn on detection value is equal to none. So we're either going to set this to null or we're going to set it to this. It's going to be one of these two here. Then if it is the server VAD and the client is connected, then it's going to pretty much listen for anything we're saying and send that input to the AI through the real-time client API. It's also going to make sure that set can push to talk. The value is essentially, I guess it's going to see if the value is false, or rather if this value is set to none and this value is set to none, then it's going to set to false. Okay. And this is the value that comes in here. Here we have a use effect. This is just going to check for scrolling. Here, conversation L's. Not really sure what that is, but I'm assuming it's conversation elements. And it's pretty much looks like it's going to loop over the conversation and grab those elements, but I'm not really sure what it's doing. Slice.call. Yeah, that one I'm not 100% sure, so we'll have to come back and go over that. Here we have another use effect. This is creating a canvas for us. There's a lot going on here, actually. So it's going to render this for us. I guess this is for the map, actually. Okay. Oh, no, this is for the waves that are appearing as we're speaking. So they're using canvas for that. That's really cool. Really native. Here we have another use effect. This is firing off in order to essentially update the session, and we have a tool that was created here, which is awesome. Set memory saves important data about the user into memory. Type object properties is giving us a key, type string. The key value of the memory, the key of the memory value, always use lowercase and underscore and no other characters. Okay. Type string. Value can be anything represented as a string. Required a key and value. Okay. So here we're setting it to memory. Here we're creating another tool. This tool is to get the weather based on the longitude, latitude, and the other things. It's telling us that we need these three. This set marker, I think, is to set a marker on the map, depending on where we're getting the weather from. So it's going to grab the weather. I think this is actually an open weather grabber or open weather API. I think I'm going to go to, I think that's their website. Yeah, so free weather API. Awesome. I was looking for that the other day and ended up using a different app. I wonder if this one is more accurate. Cool. So it's going to grab the weather. We're going to take the results, convert to JSON. We're going to get the temperature based on what we got from our JSON object here. We have a few type assertions. It's great. Here, we're saying when we do receive a real-time event, we're going to have these things happen. This is where we're actually adding the real-time events to that array. Here, we're going to see if there was any errors, if there was any interruptions. We're going to update the conversation, convert the audio. We're going to see if status is completed. We're going to decode that audio. We're going to set it as one of the new items. Then we're going to reset the client. And then finally, we get to the UI. This is just standard JSX. We've got an image here. Let's go back so that's recognizable. And here we're going to map over the events. Set expanded. And yeah, we're just like logging values at this point. So wonderful. Let's see if there's anything else that I haven't covered that I feel is important. So this one, we actually just have our normal React app being created. So within our TS config file, nothing crazy here. Yeah, pretty standard. Okay, these are all the packages that were used. So dependencies, we have OpenAI beta, testing library. So these are a few types. It is letting us know that there are versions available. Now this is just because I installed a new package, or rather npm extension that lets me know which versions we actually have and whether there's an update so that I'm not ripping my hair out. Here we have scripts. Here we have zip, which is awesome. Browser list, development. So here it lets you know at least which browser you need to be on. We've got a node mod in there, which is awesome. Really, really lightweight. I mean, we've got React Leaflet and React Feather. So those are two libraries I'm gonna have to check out. We also have Leaflet there. Awesome. And then we have our CSS file. Nothing crazy. That's awesome. Really, really lightweight, just to show us how this works. So other than this file, which creates that real-time WebSocket, and this here, the actual page, or rather the actual component. Where's our component there? Yeah. We're like solid. And we can even break this up, if you wanted to break up the UI, but yeah, this is like awesome. I mean, the actual code for the HTML portion begins at 500. And a good amount of this is also checking types and errors. We also have interfaces that we're creating, but really not that much code. I'll go ahead and fold all the first elements so that you can see them. Here, look. So what we have, the wave recorder, client ref. It's really not that much going on here. So that's awesome. Now, we did see two imports that I feel like we should go over. We'll start from the bottom up, why not? Here we have the wave renderer, and this one we're also creating a wave map here. It says normalize array. Okay, so I think this is for the shapes that are appearing when we're talking, sort of those waves that we see, so that's fine. This is the instructions, so essentially the prompt that we're allowing. Instructions: you are an artificial intelligence agent responsible for helping test real-time voice capabilities. Please make sure you respond with a helpful voice via audio. Be kind, helpful, and courteous. It is it is okay to ask the user questions. Use tools and functions you have available liberally. It is part of the training apparatus. Be open to exploration and conversation. Remember, this is just for fun and testing. Personality: upbeat and genuine. Try speaking quickly as if excited. Sweet. So here we just have a prompt, more or less. I think there was one more library we did see here, other than the wave renderer. Let's see if I can find that. Right. This is trying to hide from us. Why is this trying to hide from us? All right, so here, I think this is just a type, right? So we're just importing that type, so that's fine. Yeah, so that's fine. Here, however, it's a wave recorder. Okay, so here's a lib that was ensconced here, and I didn't quite see it. There's a lot going on in here. This is not the node modules, by the way. So here is the juicy wave files, decoding and handling a lot of that logic that had me pulling my hairs and combining multiple libraries for it before. I think I'm going to go over this in a separate video because there is a lot going on there. But I think that there are enough people who are interested in how this works. So I will break down the code there so that you guys understand. We've got the audio analysis, constants, worklets. I love that they made this all available to us. Like, that's beautiful. They really are, in some sense, trying to democratize this. So I do respect that because it's really easy to get a bit nefarious once you sort of see the dollars raining in. But I think, they're trying. And that's all I can ask for. So this looks amazing. And we're going to go ahead and test it one more time. Now that we've seen sort of the backbone, here we're going to hit the connect button. Why don't we view this full page? I think you guys want to see it full screen, right? Let's view it full screen. So here we're going to connect.
Hello. How can I assist you today?
Hey, so I'm testing out this application. Who are you? Okay, that didn't go well. Hey, so I'm testing out this application. Who are you? Interesting. Hey, so I'm testing out this application. Who are you?
I'm an AI assistant, here to help you with a variety of tasks, answer your questions, and make your experience enjoyable. Feel free to ask me anything you'd like to know or explore.
What's your name?
You can call me your AI assistant. If you'd like, you can give me a name you prefer, and I'll remember it. What do you think?
Your name is the GOAT.
Got it. You can call me the GOAT. What can the GOAT help you with today?
Well, you can help me with being the greatest of all time since you're the GOAT.
I love the enthusiasm. Let's make sure your experience here is the greatest of all time. What do you need help with? Or what would you like to explore together?
Okay, so that was the push to talk. Let's go back to VAD. So my goal is to find out what the weather is.
Sure thing. Could you please provide me with the location you'd like the weather for?
Lo- Los Angeles, California.
It seems there was an issue retrieving the weather information. You might want to check your favorite weather app or website for the latest updates in Los Angeles. If there's anything else I can help you with, just let me know.
Give me the weather in San Francisco.
I apologize for the inconvenience, but it looks like I'm unable to retrieve the weather data right now. You can check the current weather in San Francisco using a weather website or app. If there's anything else I can assist you with, feel free to let me know.
Okay, but you're showing me the weather on the screen, so why are you not able to just say it?
You're right, my mistake there. The current weather in San Francisco is 22.2 degrees Celsius with a wind speed of 6 kilometers per hour. If there's anything else you'd like to know, just let me know.
Sweet. Thank you so much. What's your name again?
You're welcome. You can call me the GOAT. If you need anything else, just give me a shout.
All right. You've all seen it there. And I think the last thing we're going to test is setting this to memory. But I don't know if that's an actual. How do I set the conversation to memory?
You can tell me what you'd like to remember, and I'll save it for you. For example, you could say, remember that my favorite color is blue, and I'll store that information. What would you like to set in memory?
Remember that I love AI software engineering.
Got it. I've remembered that you love AI software engineering. If there's anything else you'd like to add, just let me know.
Remember that my mom's birthday is next Tuesday, and I need to get her a gift. Okay, can you respond?
No problem. I've noted that your mom's birthday is next Tuesday and that you need to get her a gift. If you need any help picking out a present or have any other questions, feel free to ask.
You remember that it was my mom's birthday next Tuesday, but you didn't remember that I need to get her a gift because I interrupted you.
You're right. Let me go ahead and remember that you need to get your mom a gift for her birthday next Tuesday. Give me just a moment. I've now
Okay, so you guys have seen a good amount of the functionality there. We're going to go ahead and integrate the transcribe, or rather the real-time API, into our own application. But that was pretty awesome. We did see a few mistakes there. When I first started, the VAD wasn't working. Additionally, when I interrupted while giving the memory, or I broke it into like two parts almost, it actually didn't save the second part of memory. But I mean, I'm nitpicking here. This is still super amazing. I mean, I've had so many experiences where I've talked to a regular human being and they're not this responsive. So I really appreciate the OpenAI team for doing what they're doing. I also really appreciate the Vercel team for doing what they're doing. Like, just keep pushing the mantle, pushing us forward. And here I'm just consuming all this knowledge. I love you all. Please like, comment, please subscribe. I really need subscribers. I'm doing really bad with subscribers, and I really want all the friends, subscribers, and support that I can get. Love you all. Dr. Fullstack, tuning out.